you know the kind of soup you crave the most says something about your own personality? It's true, at least according to one soup company's survey. There are many reasons why we reach for the comfort food when we're feeling stressed, as I am this morning.
Don't you love all this health food we have out for you here this morning, early in the morning? Well, according to a recent Healthy Choice survey, most of us crave sweet or hearty foods when we're feeling down. Ice cream is the top choice, followed by pasta and cookies.
And for more on the Healthy Choice survey, we're joined by Dr. Brian Wansink, a food psychologist, live from New York. How are you this morning, sir?
Very good. Thank you, Brad.
The first question that begs to be answered, why? Why do this survey?
Well, we've known for a long time that people have a strong emotional connection with soup. In fact, when we look at all the different comfort foods available, this tends to be the one comfort food that people do not feel guilty about eating. In fact, it actually makes them feel better about themselves.
My girlfriend always says her favorite comfort food is tomato soup and grilled cheese sandwiches. Why is soup so comforting to people? Yeah, she just loves that.
Well, over half the people surveyed say that after they eat soup, not only do they feel better about themselves, but it also reminds them of warmer memories, memories of growing up, warm childhood memories, memories of their mother, things like this. So there's actually an emotional healing that happens when a person eats soup that goes beyond just its physical attributes.
Now, I understand that cookies and chips and those kinds of things are also the comfort type foods we reach for. What would explain those?
Well, we're very much attracted to unhealthy foods too. I mean, the sweets and the fats and things like this. But the nice way to get around that craving ends up being to have some of the healthy foods that we tend to also relate as comfort foods. And particularly in your country, which tends to be the heart of soup-eating country, soup ends up topping the list.
You're actually saying, though, because the results of this survey, that you can tell a lot about a person by something as simple as his or her choice when it comes to soup.
Yeah, it's amazing, essentially, some of the personality characteristics that we end up seeing associated with different soup lovers. And it's actually a very robust sort of finding. So you mentioned your friend, the tomato soup lover. Well, I would suspect that person's sort of an affectionate pet lover. She may not have a pet, but she likes pets. She tends to be a book lover, I would guess, and if I had to pick what she'd be doing on her perfect night, it would be reading a book with her cat on her lap or a dog by her side.
Yeah, that's funny because Brad and I both picked tomato soup as our favorite things too, and we're both big cat lovers, so there you go. Yeah. Must be some truth to that.
Also, it's a sign of creativity, you indicated? Is that...
That's right. It's also creativity, and they also tend to be witty, too. So I guess you can actually either confirm or disconfirm that between each other.
Well, Brad definitely
I'm
gets
sure
that
the viewers can confirm that this morning as well.
Okay.
All right. Dr. Brian Wansink, thank you very much for being with us this morning.
Pleasure to chat with you, sir.
This is Good Morning Chattanooga.
How do you feel about soup? The secret starts with mom. Psychologists say, believe that old saying, you are what you eat. And according to a new survey, it shows that the choice of soup defines your personality. Dr. Brian Wansink joins us this morning. He's a food psychologist and founder of the University of Illinois Food and Brand Lab. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, John. Nice to be with you.
Thank you, sir. I understand that you believe what people eat, how often they eat it, indicates personality traits. Now, prove it to me.
Well, no, we've known for a long time that people have strong emotional connections with soup. And as part of the introduction of the new recipe line, Healthy Choice Soup has done a study of over 1,000 consumers in the United States. Mm-hmm. What they figured out is that there's a strong connection between the type of soup a person prefers and their personality traits.
Oh, so in other words, instead of coming up and saying I'm a Pisces or something like that, it would be I'm a chili beef.
Right, and so what's your signs? What's your soup? Yeah, that's right. And, you know, that's interesting. Is chili beef, if chili beef actually is your favorite soup, what it kind of says is that you're a very outgoing, social person. You really like to be one of the boys. You're very competitive. And actually, your dark secret is that you really like comedies like The Simpsons.
Well, all right, tell me about some others. Let's talk about, because, you know, when you're growing up, Mom always said if you got a cold or the flu or anything, eat chicken soup or chicken noodle soup. So what does that say about us?
You know, that's interesting, the chicken noodle soup, because that is the most preferred soup in the United States. And people who like chicken noodle soup tend to be very loyal family sorts of people. Mm-hmm. They also tend to rate themselves as being very witty and also affectionate. And actually, when we were talking about the types of things they like to do, these are also people who, if they're not working, like to watch talk shows, or at least have them on in the background.
Tell me about some more. This is most interesting. I assume you've done a soup survey, or somebody has.
Oh, yeah, 1,000 people across the nation. I don't know, do you have any tomato soup lovers in your studio?
Well, as a matter of fact, we do. I'm being told yes in my ear now.
There we go. The tomato soup lovers end up being interesting people because they're very affectionate people, but they also tend to be pet lovers. So they either own pets or they really like pets. They also tend to be some of the most creative of all the soup lovers. And if we were to take these people and picture what they were doing on their ideal evening, they'd be reading a book in a chair with their dog by their side or their cat on their lap.
What about for the vegetable soup eater?
Yeah, what we call vegetable soup lovers, we call them the better homes and gardeners. These not only tend to be the better cooks, but they also tend to be the people who are the most social. They tend to have a lot of friends. And if you were to look at what they like to do on their average day off, it'd be hang around the house with the Food Network in the background.
This is an unsolicited testimonial, but I eat the Healthy Choice soups. I think, first off, they taste good. And I think that's what people look for, don't you?
Hey, what you're really going to like a lot more is that there's a new line coming out that have a lot of kind of interesting flavors. Zesty gumbo, there's the chicken Alfredo. And what's going on with soups is that people are eating them a lot more frequently because they're convenient, and they always also give these warm feelings. They're the most healthy comfort food a person can choose.
Speaking of comfort food, you know, a lot of people like, say, ice cream and all for comfort food. So
Right.
Has soup become a comfort food?
Yeah, it's increasing in terms of the number of people who are eating it, and it's the one comfort. I think it's the ultimate comfort food because it's the one food you can eat that you don't feel guilty after eating. In fact, one of the things we found in our survey was that 3/4 of the people who eat soup say they feel better about themselves after they eat soup. And they also say that soup reminds them of, this won't surprise you, reminds them of warm childhood memories and also of their mother.
Yeah. Boy, and Mom's always right.
Oh, that's right. You know, we have a lot more...
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Don. We have a lot more detail about the different soup profiles. It's on the website. It's healthychoice.com. Just
Okay.
click on the little soup icon, and you can learn more about your soup sign.
What is it? Healthy Choice makes what, about 24 different soups?
Yeah, about 22 different soups, and
Yeah.
15 of these that are coming out are new improved recipes. They're lower in fat. They're also lower in cholesterol, and they have some pretty exotic new flavors, too. Moving
right.
away from the top 5 favorite soups.
All right, what about some of the a really wild, crazy person? What kind of soup do they prefer? Somebody that's off the wall, you know, comes from left
Yeah.
field.